Finally, my favourite streamer's showing his face. I've been thinking about becoming a no-camera Andy. It's so much more fun to stream without your camera on, but it's probably worse to watch though. It's so much better to stream without a camera on though. Because you don't have to have big, massive, stupid lights on. You can be like the rest of the gamers sitting in the dark. We don't mind if you turn off the lights. I think you do. Okay, let me turn off the lights. Wow. Okay. That's a great stream. Great stream. Oi, lads. Time of the dinosaur has arrived. Kind of. Not gonna lie, there's not that many dinosaurs. But, you know, that's okay. Yet. Hopefully yet. Let's have a look at these frickers, shall we? Ojer Taq, the Deepest Foundation. 6 mana, 6/6 Vigil. One or more creature tokens will be created under your control. 3 times that many of those tokens are created instead. When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. 6 mana, 6/6. It is a lot. It's completely trash. This wouldn't even be good even if standard had rotated, but with no rotation, no chance. It's a mythic, by the way. Well, this is a good card for Commander, right? Well, I mean, is it? Maybe it's not. I don't really know what a good Commander card is, to be honest. I need to actually play some Commander, man. I swear, Commander decks must be so bad, given by what people say are good and bad. I bet we could crush the Commander meta in under a week, but I ain't playing it in person. I'm capping? I'm not capping, man. How long do you think it would take me to make a tier 1 Commander deck? Honestly, give me 1 week from never having played it before, and I'd have a tier 1 deck. Easy. 3 days? Prove it? I'd love to prove it, man. Dude, if they made a playable online Commander client, I would play it a lot. I've got nothing against Commander. The only thing I've got against Commander is that I can't stream it because it's in person. But if I could stream it, I'd play it no problem. Let's go next card. The Enigma Jewel. 1 mana. Legendary artifact. Comes in tapped, okay. Make 2 colorless for activated abilities. Okay, pretty good. Craft with 4 or more non-lands with activated abilities. 9. What does that mean? That means exile this artifact, exile 4 or more from other permanents you control and or cards in your graveyard. Okay. And then transform it into the Locus of Enlightenment. As each activated ability of the exiled cards you use to craft it, you may activate each of those abilities only once each turn. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability copy, you may choose new targets for the copy. Gas. Trash. I mean, this card's good, no? Now, who cares about the craft thing? It's 1 mana, it's a... What's that guy called that has this? Just Play Training Grounds Keck W. Just recognise that you can play this and Training Grounds in the same deck, Keck W? Omen Hawker, yeah, but Omen, that's what I mean. So it's Omen Hawker that can't be killed, right? And then at some point you can just click this button. I mean, this thing's obviously good, man. It's also a legendary artifact, so it's a bit bedry. You can only play 1. Especially with an ability like this, where it's one that's going to stay in play all the time. But yes, very nice. Also very only playable in 1 deck, so not too exciting. Bloodletter of Aklazots. Shelly mana creature, huh? Let's see. Whenever an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. Okay, this is truly, truly dumpster. Wow, that is bad. Yeah, we've got to be careful with analysing the cards, because remember, this is a new... We live in a new world, chat. We live in a new society with a no rotation society. So cards have to kind of be even, they already had to be good to see play, but now they have to be even better than they did before. Which is a bit silly. I don't think that black creature, I don't even think that would be good enough in a rotation society, but this is a non-rotation society. Ojer Axonil, the Deepest Might. 4/4 trample. If a red source would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than Ojer's power to an opponent, that source deals damage equal to Ojer's power instead. 4 mana, 4/4 trample. This dude needs pingers, huh? Pingies. This will not be good if you're trying to turn your lightning strikes into deal 4 or your play with fires into deal 4, but if you're turning your Kamano into a deal 4, that's pretty good. Turning your Epicure into a deal 4, that's pretty good too. But preferably something that just does lots of pings. Yeah, Anvil. Anvil's good, yeah. Things like Anvil. But even then, I'm not sure this is that good. But when it dies, flip into what? Add red, or what's that? 4 mana to flip it back. If red sources dealt 4 or more non-combat, well, you can never flip it back, so that's a rip. Weird card, man. I'm not sure even Anvil would want this, man. Even Anvil doesn't ping enough to justify this. I mean, the main problem is that you can never flip it back into a creature, right? Red sources you control do 4 or more non-combat damage this turn. It's not possible. I'm going to give this a 0 out of 10. Unless you can show me an Anvil-ish deck where the whole deck is pings. Huatli, Poet of Unity. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, good start. 5 mana, exile Huatli, return her to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control as a sorcery. Create 2 3/3 tokens. Roar of the 5th people gains creatures you control have add Naya mana. Search your library for a dino, reveal it, put it into your hand. Dinosaurs gain double strike and trample until end of turn. Bro, this thing's fucking nuts. This thing is absolutely nuts. This card is trash. No, it's not. This is the best card so far by a mile. You're insane. I have only reviewed 4 cards, yes, but that doesn't change the fact that what I said is true. It dies to removal? It doesn't die to removal, man. It's drew you a land, bozo. You don't want to pay 5 mana to have it cut down. That is true, man. How do you think your ancestors would feel if they found out that you weren't able to recognize opponents got a cut down and then just not click the button? You know, you only click the button when it benefits you, right? You don't click the button when it benefits opponent, unless you're a real fool. You can see this being good in the ramp deck. This is just good in any. This is an insane card. It's not even ramp. This is not a ramp card, dude. This is a mid-range creature. It's a like 10 for 1, man. It's OP. 2/3 land, 2 3/3 tokens, bit of mana generation. Find a dino. Big attack. Like it's cracked. Naya mid-range, lol. There was a time when Naya mid-range was the best deck in Standard, man. Oh, there was for a long time. You had the runes deck and you had the scouds like Sentinel Magda kind of shit. That was all on scouds though. Scouds just one of the best cards, I mean, ever, to be honest with you. But this card is good and you guys are crazy. Kellan, Daring Traveler. Legendary creature, human fairy scout. 2 mana, 2/3. You've also got a sorcery adventure. Create X map tokens where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who control an artifact. So 1. Make 1 map token. What the hell is a map token? This? Okay, well it can't be that because that's insane. Pay 1 to explore. Okay. Whenever Kellan, Daring Traveler attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature with mana value 3 or less, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. This is probably good, but it's also the most bedge of all cards, isn't it? I'm over any card that says creature card with mana value 3 or less on it. I'm over it, man. Get me some new material, please. But this card does seem decent though. The adventure is okay, and the creature is okay. So that means the card will be good for sure. But it's also extremely limiting, right? Like, you're just playing green-white small creature pile. Yes, Naya Legends or something like that, right? And that's, you know, please, I'm begging you for some new decks. Everflowing Well. When it enters the battlefield, mill 2, then draw 2. Okay, good start. Descend 8. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, transform it. Okay, that's not too hard to do. Transform into a blue land. Whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by the myriad pools, up to one target permanent you control becomes a copy of the spell. Huh? What the hell does that mean? You turn your fairy mastermind into a go for the throat? How does that work? Oh, when a permanent spell. Okay, I was like, what the hell is going on? What do you turn then? I turn my something into a something. Turn a blood token into an Atraxa. Yeah. I've really missed doing card reviews. If you turn something into a copy, does it activate the ETB? Nah, it won't. Any permanent though, so you can just turn your lands into a creature, right? And get to boinking. That's pretty good. I mean, both sides are fine, right? Think I can ever flip this card? The flipping this card is easy, man. What do you mean? Play like a teachings, play this, play Amonkhet, play Turtle, and then, I mean, you'll flip it one or two turns after you play it. So much random graveyard hate. I mean, you can't justify graveyard hate against this card, because you'll just, you'll lose, man. This will be a combo piece. Like, it can be a combo piece, yeah. But it's also just fine, fair card, man. This does mill to itself, yeah. But this seems very good. It's kind of like Search for Azcanta, yeah. Bringer of the Last Gift. 8 mana creature. Huh? Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from their graveyard that went put this way to the battlefield. Guess is the worst card in a long time. It's a YouTuber card? Kind of, yeah. Use it with Amonkhet? Okay, but you can't really play cards in Amonkhet decks that don't, that you can't cast from your hand. If I learn something about creatures doing effects of spells, it's that you can break them with multiple cards, and it gets absurd really quick. Strictly speaking for Commander, of course. Dude, I swear, man. If people play cards like this in Commander, I'm gonna run a Commander tournament and then just play in it myself and win it anyway, and not have to give out any prizes. There's no way people are playing the cards like this. There's just no shot. Streamer doesn't understand a non-competitive format. That Commander is competitive, man. Why do you think these people keep inviting you to play? It's because they want to win and they know that they're going to beat you. May go 30 seconds on REDH, then you will tell us. Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I have never played a game of Commander in my life. I've never seen a Commander deck in my life. If I started playing Commander today, I would have one of the best decks in Commander in under 7 days. I have absolutely no doubts about that. Absolutely no doubts. Do it? I mean, I would love to, man, but I gotta wait for an online client. But I'm sure there will be an online client, whether it's in Arena or outside of Arena, at some point soon. And by soon, I mean in the next, let's call it, next 365 times 2 days. But yes, I will. As soon as that happens, I will play some, of course. You'd bet $1 million that I wouldn't without looking up decks. Are you sure you want to make this bet? I will make this bet with you if you want. Yes? Alright. When they release a Commander online client, I will have one of the best decks in Commander within 1 week. That's the bet. 1 week after that day. I'm locked in. Way to back down? How the fuck? I just agreed. How is agreeing? Hey man, do you want to? I bet that you wouldn't. Okay, I agree. Let's do the bet. Oh, way to back down. Way to back down. Nice. Bonehoard Dracosaur. 5 mana, 5/5 flying first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile a land card this way, create a 3/1 dinosaur creature token. If you exile the non-land card this way, create a treasure token. Imagine how dead CROKEYZ is in his first EDH game. Dude, you're clueless, man. You do not understand how at one I am with Magic the Gatherings. I mean, this dragon sucks wiener, obviously. Too slow against aggro, too slow against ramp, and dies to removal against mid-range. Just absolutely trash against every single opponent. Flip it with Amonkhet. Is this the new one, chat? If it costs too much mana to be good, we just flip it with Amonkhet now. This is good in Commander. Okay. It's good in Commander while we don't play Commander, chat. I'll say that. There's no way this is good in Commander. There's only 2 good cards in Commander. Soul Ring and Paradox Engine. Everything else is bad. Okay, so I mean, this card sucks. If you'd like to have a detailed answer as to why, I'll let you know. You're playing against, say, mono red soldiers, mono white Esper Legends, that type of thing. You play your dragon, they kill you. You're playing against ramp. You play your dragon, they kill you. You're playing against mid range. You play your dragon. They don't kill you, but they kill your dragon, and then they kill you. This certainly does a lot if it survives. A 5-drop needs to be able to profitably trade with Shelly, which this does. No, it doesn't. A 5-drop needs to instantly kill Shelly, which this does not. I will tell you the 3 playable 5-mana cards in Standard. Gix's Command instantly kills Shelly. Sunfall instantly kills Shelly. And there is one more playable 5-mana card, I just can't remember what it is. Like a White Virtue, which does not instantly kill Shelly, but it does make their Shelly useless. Burn Down the House? I guess Burn Down the House is playable, but unfortunately, since the Fable ban, red is the worst colour of all 5, right? In mid-range piles, which is where Burn Down the House is. Okay, Jorge. Let's take on your analysis. You versus me, bozo. Let's check it, shall we? Reasonable mana cost. We don't want... Reasonable mana cost should not be on the checklist. Unfair mana cost. Question mark? Not check. Good body for a creature. 5 mana, 5/5 flying first striker. 5/5 flying first striker is obviously a good body for a creature. Of course, everyone would play creatures with that if it didn't cost 5. A completely irrelevant question. It is relative to the mana cost. Relative to the mana cost, it's not a good body for the creature, so not check again. Evasion, and maybe another good combat ability. Check. That it does have, but it's also priced at an excruciating price. So, again, irrelevant. Card advantage, check. It's only card advantage if your opponent is not playing the game. I would say not check again. Ramps you, check. That is true, but you don't really want your 5-mana cards to ramp you. You want your 5-mana cards to be the cards that you cast after you've already ramped. Fills the board with more creatures, check. Yes, tokens are good, I will agree there. Tokens are good. What the actual heck? This dude is insane. And please don't bring the old dies to Doomblade and does not impact the board on the turn you play it arguments. Jorge, listen. I'm not just... I bring these arguments not to disrespect you and not to kill your fun. It's mostly just to try and enlighten you to the fact that you cannot evaluate a card, like, come over the good parts of it and then ignore the bad parts, okay? If you did that, then all cards would seem good to you, which, to be honest, Jorge, I'm starting to imagine that they do. At least in Jorge's favour, he does know why this card is bad. He doesn't want to accept it, right? And that's, you know, that's fine. That's a minor mistake. He doesn't want to accept it, but he possesses the knowledge. One day he will learn. One day he will learn that you have to evaluate it fairly. You have to add the pros, you have to add the cons, and you just have to put them together, right? But to be fair to young Jorge, he is one step ahead of most people here. He knows why it's bad, he's just refusing to accept it yet. Ryan with a good response here. It dies to Doomblade. So true, man. So true, Ryan. Yeah, Jorge's a bit of a coper, but He's not he's not a complete dumbass. This thing absolutely did not need that last ability. 5 mana for a 5/5 flying first strike. The impulse draws 2 cards every turn is already fantastic. Making free 3/1 dinosaurs and treasures every turn, in addition to all that, is just absurd. I'm gonna have to disagree. This is the worst card yet. Okay, it's not as bad as the black one, that's true. Ghalta Stampede Tyrant 5 GGG. Elder Dino, Trample, ETB, put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. This is the type of card I think of when I think of Ixalan. You know? Looks really cool, and then never play it ever. To be fair, this would be a member of Oliver's first deck, that's true. Show and tell stuff. Surely there's been a creature with this effect before. This can't be the first time they've ever made a creature that says put creatures onto the board. In standard, at least, that stupid black creature is even better than this. Because unless you're playing some kind of combo, like, I mean, in standard, especially with all the ramp now, like you can cast 8 mana cards. It's not completely unreasonable, but you can't cast an 8 mana card and still have other creatures left in your hand. You need to spend your whole hand to even get you to the point where you can spend the 8 mana card. So this, in standard at least, Ghalta doesn't even have an ETB. Because you ain't got creatures in your hand, I promise you that. Am I really that bad? This card is so cool to me. You're not necessarily that bad, but you are the reason why I have to put fucking red arrows on my YouTube thumbnails. You know, you just like big flashy things, man. I mean, listen, chat. I wouldn't be surprised if you can play Ghalta in Legacy. I'd do something really fucking weird, but you ain't playing this thing in standard. But also, I would be pretty surprised if that's the first time that effect has ever been put on a creature. I can't believe that. But maybe it is true. What is this? Oltec Cloud Guard. 4 mana, 3/2, flyer, ETB, create a 1/1. This is just like that, what was that blue? What was that blue flyer that everyone's... You're telling me to pick over rares half the time, chat. Preening Champion, yeah. Fucking hell, man. I hate that card so much. That card actually made me not like that draft format. Because I couldn't stand people saying to pick it over rares. Preening Champion is an MVP. It is a great common. But people were acting like... People were literally saying it was the best card in the whole set. Like, it's fucking stupid. This thing in draft is... I'm sure it's okay, but... What the fuck? Did we just get gnomed? What? There's no gnome on there. Ah. It makes a gnome, okay. Malcolm, the Alluring Scoundrel. 2/1, flash fire. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it. Draw discard. If there are 4 or more chorus counters, you may cast the discarded card without paying its cost. Seems pretty good. Siren Pirate, huh? Giga Trash? No, this thing's good, man. Draw discard's really strong. 2/1 flash for 2s is normal. What's Jorge's take? Flash and Flying is a bit wild on a battle damage triggered effect of this caliber. The 2 mana Black Knight is kept in check by the fact that you have to put her in a precarious position to get her going, but this swings over. Comes out at instant speed, gets value the moment she touches the opponent, and potentially casts something busted if the opponent protects it well enough. A bit overboard. Although decent all round, getting those free casts will probably border on impossible. True, pretty true, but I mean, they need to border on impossible, right? Otherwise the card's completely busted. Thing about cards like this is that they're good because they are cheap and they just trade for removal spells, right? Yes, your opponent is going to kill this, but they're not going to be happy about it, right? They don't want to kill this thing, man. But they know they have to. And then you can cast your 5 mana dragon and it doesn't die, right? and then you're truly in business. This card ever sees play in Standard, I will sub to you. Okay. I mean, I think it will. Remember, there's only like 3 types of decks in Standard, right? Because it's so big, like you've just got 3 like stupidly extreme decks. You've got very fast mono red, very slow ramp, and then the mid-range piles in the middle, right? This card's so good against ramp, man. And it's fine against mono red too. And well, this card is not amazing against mid-range. Your deck will be, right? Because you're playing a blue tempo deck. This will be played for sure. For sure. As long as the only way that this won't see play is if there's more like fairies, tribal kind of cards, and the tempo deck ends up being fairies. Like with no space for any creatures that are not fairies. Or like just complete soldiers. But even soldiers plays non-soldiers, right? Is almost certainly will be played. If the tempo deck is not a tribal deck, that will be in it. Souls of the Lost. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. That's very expensive. Souls of the Lost power is equal to number of permanent cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that number plus 1. What the hell is this shit? A Tarmogoyf where you have to discard a card to cast it? I guess it's decent if you're playing like a Reanimator deck, right? Where you're actually getting huge value out of discarding cards from your hand, but you don't really get to play decks like that in Standard though. This is bonkers, man. Come on. Not in Standard. And I mean, if even in Historic, it's just a fucking... It's a Reanimator creature, right? Millions of them. Broken. Broken. This card has broken the game of Magic. It's no longer playable. Breaches the Eager Pillager. 3 mana, 3/3. Goblin Pirate, first strike. Whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Create a treasure token. Target creature can't block this turn. Exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn. Gas. Seems okay, yeah. It's a red Glissa, isn't it? Pirate Tribal. I don't think you don't even need to play Pirate Tribal though. It's not really a Pirate Tribal. Well, I mean, it is a Pirate Tribal card, but it's not limited to only Pirate Tribal. You can play this without other pirates. If you attack with 2 pirates, you will get to choose 2 things, yeah. 0 playable. Zephyr Singer's a good card, man. The blue flash creature's a pirate, yeah, but they don't really go in the same deck, those 2 cards, though. Skullspore Nexus. 8 mana legendary artifact. X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Okay. So it's Henge, basically, so far. Whenever one or Henge castable. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, create a green fungus dinosaur with base power and toughness equal to the total power of those creatures. For 2 and a tap, double creature's power until end of turn. Bad? I was wondering if it's a good sideboard card, right? For black decks. Obviously, it's... I mean, actually, it's not that bad against white creature decks, but it's bad against mono red, and it's bad against ramp and control. But can you... Is it really good against, like, go for the throat mid-range piles? Maybe. There's no Love Struck Beast, right? So that you can't actually discount it by that much, man. Is the problem. In this Standard. What a fun twist on the Great Henge. Yeah, fun, man. Really, really fun. It's like taking the fucking filling out of cake, man. So fun, Jacob. Hey, it's still a cake, right? It's still a cake. Dry AF, yeah. Spring-loaded Sawblades. Artifact Flash. ETB 5 damage to tapped creature. Huh? That's not a bad start, is it? Craft with Artifact 4. Exile this artifact, exile another artifact you control or artifact in your graveyard. Return it transformed into a vehicle with tap 2 other untapped artifacts you control. Blade Wheel Chariot becomes an artifact creature until end of turn crew 1. 2 mana removal spell that can become a vehicle later. Not bad. Not bad at all. This kills the dragon, yeah. True. Can you do the craft with artifact after using it? What do you mean can you do it? You can only do it after using it. Huh? I mean, this card's gas, no? Considering white can't remove a creature without casting a Sunfall, seems decent card for control decks. I mean, this is just decent in every deck, no? Combos with Mirex, true. The Sinuous Benthesaur. 6 mana 4/4. ETB, look at the top X card of your library where X is the number of caves you control, plus the number of cave cards in your graveyard. Put 2 of those cards into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Seems pretty bad. Deep Cavern Bat. 1/1 flying lifelinker for 2, ETB yoink a card. Seems pretty bad. Hit the Mother Lode. 7 mana sorcery, discover 10. If the discovered card's mana value is less than 10, create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the difference. To discover 10, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 10 or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom in a random order. Seems absolutely dumpster. I mean, I guess you never cast the card, right? Oh no, you do. Never mind. I was going to say, couldn't you just, like, decline to cast it every time and make 10 treasures? But that's not how you work. Not how it works. It's just shit, man. Cosmium Confluence. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Okay, cool. Search your library for a cave, put it onto the battlefield tapped. 3 counters on a cave you control, and animate it, or destroy enchantment. Isn't this good? Get 3 lands as a base mode is not bad, but not really. The base mode is get 1 land and make it a 6/6 creature, right? So it's a 5 mana 6/6 ramp at worst. This is good, no? I mean, it depends what caves are, but I mean, they're just lands, right? The caves. That seems decent. It's kind of like that. What's that card that 5 mana fetch 2 lands and you make some zombies? People always played it with Field of the Dead. Isn't it kind of like that? Hour of Promise, yeah? It's kind of like that, right? I mean, there's no Field of the Dead to fetch, but, you know. Miner's Guidewing. 1 mana 1/1 Flying Vigilance. When it dies, target creature you control explores. It's not bad. Chart a Course. I believe we've all seen this card before. Broodrage Mycoid. 4 mana 4/3. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, make a token. Pretty bad. Geological Appraiser. 4 mana 3/2. ETB discover 3. Exile cards into your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your random order. Don't know. Hard to judge, innit? Yeah, Bloodbraid Elf is definitely a bit worse if it doesn't have haste. But, you know, it's okay for a card to be worse than Bloodbraid Elf. I'm just wondering if this is good in mono red. I mean, it should be, no? Because it's going to be, like, what? Most of the time it will be a 4 mana and you get, what? A 2 mana card from your deck, and this, what is essentially a 2 mana 3/2, but in 1 card. Seems good. If it hits Godric, it's pretty insane. Like, it doesn't have to hit Godric, it just has to hit a card that costs 2, man. Even if it is a card that costs 1, which is that's the lowest roll you can get, it's still, it can still be good against a opponent's hand. I think it's good in mono red, man. Not even just mono red. Well, maybe just mono red, to be honest. You're not going to play it in like Rakdos or anything, because you'll hit go for the throats and stuff too often, right? And yes, you can bring them into your hand, but who cares? 4 mana 3/2 draw 1 is not fine. It's not draw 1, man. It's 4 mana 3/2 draw 1 and cast it for free. I believe this is good. Growing Rites of Itlamok. ETB, look at the top 4 cards of your library and reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Growing Rites of Itlamok. Kind of just a shitty card, isn't it? It's a reprint, yeah. There's nothing to spend mana on in Standard, man. Spyglass Siren. 1 mana, 1/1 flyer, ETB, create a map token. Okay, busted as hell. The dragon. Oh, yeah, this thing's sick. It's a card that really helps play the 2 mana cancel thing, huh? Where is it? Where is it? You know the one, chat, don't you? You know the one? Ah, not Ice Out. The other one. Wait, where is it? Disruption Protocol? Is that rotated? Oh, it costs 2, but you pay an extra. It's not cost 3 and discount by 1, okay. Yeah, this one, right? Actually, Counterspell is legal in Standard now. Pretty good. It's pretty good. And obviously, we know by now that 1-drops that make 2 permanents are mega OP. I'm looking at you, Voldaren Epicure, for example. I mean, this thing is sick, of course. Idol of the Deep King. 3 mana artifact, flash, ETB, 2 damage to any target, craft with artifact 3, flip it into an equipment that attaches immediately, +2/+0 equip 2. I mean, an absolutely insane card for a common, but not good enough for constructed though. For a 3, like, so 1 and 2 mana commons can be constructed playable, but 3 mana commons almost never. But this is not that far off, man. This card's sick. Intrepid Paleontologist. 2 mana, 2/2, mana dark, 2 exile a card from a graveyard. You may cast dinosaur spells from among cards you own exiled with Intrepid Paleontologist. If you cast a spell this way, that creature ETBs with a finality counter. I mean, pretty sick, right? If you've got some dinos going, pretty sick. Unfortunately, there's only one dino in Standard. I guess there's 2 dinos, okay? There's Stomper and Frillback. But yeah, only 2 dinos, sadly. And you can't really play these 2 in the same deck. Guess you can, but Huatli, Huatli sucks. The Song of Stupefaction. The Song of Stupefaction. Sorry. When Song of Stupefaction enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards. That's a same blue removal we have every set, yeah. Jade Light Spunker. When Jade Light Spunker enters the battlefield, it explores X times. That's good, no? Seems insanely good. It's a weird crisis. I suppose, yeah, but it's not color locked though. But this thing has to be good, man. There's no way this is not good. This will be better in Maddox than it will be in yours though, chat. Because you being a fool, you'll leave your powerful card on top. Me being a Chad, I bin that shit and take my lands. You don't have the mental fortitude to make this card good. Dicant Echo. ETB, draw a card, descend 4, has flying. Okay. You don't get to choose though? What do you mean you don't get to choose? It's Explore, man. You do get to choose. Thrashing Brontodon! Dino. Bronto is just so shit compared to Frillback, man. Yikes. Bronto has been left behind. He's extinct. Evolution has come for the Bronto. Waterwind Scout. 3 mana ETB make a map token. This compared to the 1-drop, man. For 2 more mana, you get 1/1 of stats. There's a 1 mana 1/1 make a map with flying. That's a 3 mana 2/2. It's not even it's not rarity different. They're both commons, man. When C Note Scout enters the battlefield, it explores. Guess things gas. 1 mana 2/2 or 1 mana 1/1 draw a card. Yes, please. Seems pretty good. Fish good. Fish are always good, man. Fish has to be the most underrated tribe. Yeah, the good fish lord in Standard, but nowhere near enough fish though. Frog. Reach mana dark with 2 mana death touch. I'd love to just stand on that little fucker and squash him into oblivion. Let's go next. Quintorius Kand. 6 out of 10. Unfortunately, this is a 0 out of 10. 5 mana, 4 loyalty. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, drain 2. +1, make a token. -3, discover 4. -6, Tibble alt. It's actually a good card, but it's just unplayable in standard, right? This is just the type of card you can't play because of ramp. This is why we rotate the format every 2 years, Smile. So that you can print Elephant Planeswalker and allow your player base to put it in their deck. Alchemy only then? This could be okay in Alchemy, yeah, I don't know, and I've not really paid attention to whether any of the Alchemy cards cast from exile or not, but maybe you can try this in Alchemy, I don't know. This is better than you think. I mean, it's just a Planeswalker, right? Planeswalkers are so easy to evaluate, man. You just gotta ask, are they good against mono red? Are they good against Extreme Deck 1, mono red? I would say no. Is it good against Extreme Deck 2, ramp? No. Is it good against Shelly middle decks? Yes, probably. So it's only 1 out of 3 types of opponent that you can use it against, right? It's shit against everything else. I guess, yeah, it's okay in with the Overseer, yeah. Maybe you could maybe try this in Alchemy. Let's see. And the peg removal spell only hits creatures, right? Not planeswalkers. So yeah, could be nice. Could be nice. I think this card is good, but it's just it is a card that suffers from the lack of rotation, and it won't be the only card that suffers from the lack of rotation, guys. Even with rotation, most cards are shit. But without rotation, almost every card is going to be unplayable. Martin says it's trash. Martin, I think in standard it is trash, yeah. I mean, that's fair. It's completely fair. But I think you could maybe try this in Alchemy, though, because Drain 2 is no joke, man. You don't need to Drain 2 too often for a game to be unlosable. Geshath Sun's Avatar. Haste Trampo. I mean, this is probably the best card in standard. At least that would be the opinion of my 2.5-year-old son. Oliver would put this in his deck. And that's got to count for something, right? It's got to count for something. The Mycote Rant. This thing should be decent. Fungus Tribo. You don't have to play Fungus Tribo, though, for these type of cards, man. You just let it snowball by itself, right? This plus Old Rusty kind of pops. This plus Teachings, this plus Tortoise, this plus Amonkhet, this plus whatever. This plus Jace. Isn't this into Jace is 3 mana, 15, 15, and 15 tokens? No? I guess 16, 16, yeah. I think this card is just decent, man. It's a fat creature and tokens. I mean, people play fat creatures and tokens all the time. I'm looking at you, Rat Boy. I'm looking at you... Who else am I looking at? I'm sure I'm looking at some other stuff too. Adeline, yes. Adeline. Squee. But Squee's not really a fat boy in tokens, though. Squee's a small boy in tokens. I think this is decent, though, man. Because there's enough good cards that mill in standard now that you don't really have to compromise on your card quality. Normally a card like this would be bad because you'd have to play shit cards in your deck just to mill, right? But you don't have to play any shit cards. You can just play Teachings, you can just play Jace, you can just play Amonkhet, you can just play Turtle, you can just play Rutstein, like, you can play Wrenn. There are plenty of good mill cards that are just good. Vito, the Fanatic of Aklazots. 4/4 flyer. When you sack a permanent, gain 2 life. If it's a second time, opponent loses 2 life. If it's a third time, make a 4/3 flyer. Abuelo, the Ancestral Echo. 3 mana, 2/2 flying ward 2. 3 flicker a thing. Seems shit. Ah, Skipped a card. I skipped the Bartolome del Presidio. Why is this card's name in Spanish, but the text is in English? Why is your name in English? Because I was born in an English-speaking country. What? Everything has to be English. But yeah, why not? I mean, not English, but everything should be... having more than one language in the world is probably the dumbest thing we've ever done as humans. Like, there should... I don't care if it's English or not, but there should only be one language. It's so fucking pointless to have more than one. How is that a shit take? There's no logical reason to have more than one language. I mean, you might have an emotional attachment to more than one language, but there's no logical reason to have more than one. I mean, I don't care whether it's English or Mandarin or French, but there should just be one. Not French. I mean, it could be French. There's no reason. There shouldn't be any other language over French, or shouldn't be French over any other language. With more languages, we have more songs. That doesn't make any sense, man. You think if the person that made this song in Spanish didn't speak Spanish but spoke a different language, that they just wouldn't have been a musician? I'm only a musician because I was raised speaking Spanish. I'm telling you, man, if I spoke French, I would not have picked up that guitar. There's no way. It's unlocked by Spanish card. I can't read this card. I don't speak Spanish. Sacrificio, another Crichero, or Artefacto. Putao, Awanawano, uno Countroso, on Bartolomono del Presidiado. That's good, right? Perfecto. Thank you. Oh, that was Portuguese. Oh, sorry. Close, though. Take my language out of your mouth. I can't speak Spanish at all, man. Why are we still looking at this card? I mean, it is actually a decent card, no? 0 mana sack outlets. But, like... hard to use in standard, as always, this kind of thing is, but... you know. Historic type effect. Ushpenback, the Great Mistake. Legendary creature, Vigilance Menace, descend the 8, return it. Okay, pretty bad. Throne of the Grim Captain. Disneyland card. Stop moaning about... you guys are still whining about me making fun of Spanish. What has happened to the world? You can't make fun of a set of words that freaking clowns made up like thousands of years ago. You can make fun of English too. Like, it's funny. Who cares? It's just a fucking language, man. Farmers made up thousands of years ago. Who cares? If we made up a new language today for the world to speak, it wouldn't be Spanish, and it wouldn't be English either. It would make... they're all fucking terrible. Throne of the Grim Captain. Mill 2 cards. Craft with a dinosaur, a merfolk, a pirate, and a vampire. Okay. It would be German. It definitely wouldn't be German, man. It would be a sensible language where nouns don't change like 12 different ways for no reason. All languages are trash. That's a fact. They're all so fucking bloated, man. No haste. It's got a hexproof though. Hexproof's pretty good, right? Dinosaur, merfolk, pirate, vampire. English is clearly the most simple language in the world. Well, I mean, I don't really know how good English is compared to other languages, because I don't speak any other languages, but I would assume that English is just as shit as the rest of them. I believe that if the world came together and decided that we're all going to speak one language, that we would just make up a new one. I don't think any of them are good enough. Are we still talking about languages? It's an interesting topic, man. Anyway, chat. There's a good... you can play Frillback as a dino. Any good merfolk? Interesting topic. Wants to eliminate all languages except one. I just, you know... I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, and it seems like half of the population agrees with me. The other half thinks I'm a clown. But That's probably the case for everything in life. It's pretty normal, right? Why not both? I don't think there are any dinosaur merfolk, are there? Merfolk. Pretty trash. I mean, the Hexcatcher's amazing, but it needs to be a full merfolk deck. The rest kind of suck. Pirate and Vampire. Any good vampires in the game these days? Yeah, not really. Treasure Map. Everyone's favourite cube card, except me, because I'm a Chad. I intentionally pass this card to the next person at the table, knowing that their deck's about to get worse and mine's is better. Treasure Map in Standard, huh? Would any deck use it? Surely not. It's so bad. Bankbuster changed the world. It will never be a Treasure Map world ever again. Cavern of Souls. I mean, it's a good land. I wonder what creature type people are going to name, chat. Surely it won't just only be humans. Surely there will be another creature type that people will play at some point. Uncounterable Atraxa? True. True. I mean, it's insane historic card, yeah. Mega insane. Counter spells are completely dead, but you do still have reprieve in historic at least. This is good in goblins, yeah. Uncounterable Muxus, that sounds good. I like the sound of that. Uncounterable Muxus, huh? Nah, reprieve still gets past. Reprieve works against a creature cast with this, yeah. 5-color humans or what? I don't think this will make Joda humans that much better, man. Because the problem with Joda humans in Standard is not casting the Joda. They can already cast it. The problem is that they can't fucking draw the Joda. If you don't draw it, your deck does nothing. How do you need to get the Joda into your hand more than you need help actually putting on the board. The lands for Joda's already good. Of course it will make Joda deck better by a little bit, but not by a lot, I don't think. Like, in Standard, the best use for this card will be like in a 2 or 3 color humans deck, or just to make your fucking Atraxa uncounterable. Restless Prairie. 4 mana to activate 3/3 llama. Other creatures get +1/+1. This is a creature land. Creature lands are good. This land is good. Cavernous Maw. Colorless land. For 2 it becomes a 3/3 creature. Huh? For 2? Activate if the number of caves you control plus the number of caves in your graveyard is 3 or greater. That seems hard to do. Heading Courtyard enters the battlefield tapped. So these are 1-color lands, and then for 6 you can play a 1 to 4 drop. Hard to say, innit? Hard to say. I mean, surely good, right? Surely good. There's just one of each one. They're all Discover 4? Okay, you wouldn't have space for them in 3-color decks, but in 2-color decks you can play a couple, and in monocolor decks you can play all 4 if you want, but very interesting. I don't know if they're good, man. Don't actually know. Deeproot Pilgrimage. Whenever one or more non-token merfolk you control become tapped, create a token with hexproof. 2 mana. Pretty good. Okay, this is in a language that's not English, so I'm not allowed to say it because that would be culturally insensitive. Coati Scavenger. 2G. Descend 4. When Coati Scavenger enters the battlefield, if there are 4 or more permanents in your grave, add target permanent card to your hand. Actually, not that bad. Speleology. 3 mana enchantment. ETB, draw a card. Place a land from hand onto battlefield. If you place a cave, gain 4 life. Lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. This thing is insane, no? Huh? ETB, draw a card. Okay. And then put a land from hand onto battlefield. If it's a cave, gain 4 life. Okay. All lands enter untapped. Seems really good. Yeah. So for 3 mana, what you get Explore, which is 2 mana. So you're basically paying one extra mana for all lands enter the battlefield untapped, and if it's a cave, you get 4 life. So that this is Explore and Amulet in 1 card for the same price. Isn't that crazy? This is better than Explore. Well, I mean, you're not listening to what I'm saying, but yes, I guess technically you're correct. But you've cheesed the conversation a bit there. But it's translated wrong. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, then you can put on the battlefield a land from your hand. If you put a cavern on the battlefield in this way, you gain 4 life. Or that the 1 land that you put into play on that turn is untapped. Or is it all lands? Is this a mistrend? No, it is all lands. I mean, this is really good then. Clearly. Okay. We'll take a look again tomorrow, see if there's any more cards. Ecuador! Ecuador!